Hey everyone, this week it is a special edition dedicated to the homophobic racist known as Roy Moore. And then I'll be sitting down with the feminism editor here at The Advocate, Tracy Gilchrist. I'm Dana Goldberg, and you are watching Out in Left Field. So it seems Roy Moore is running for the job of Senator of Alabama. There are so many reasons not to vote for this man. I dug through all of them and came up with my top 3. Roy Moore, this is your life. All right, reason number 3. Roy Moore said a Supreme Court ruling allowing loving adults to marry is actually worse than the court's 1857 decision that what? Upheld slavery. In 2015, as Alabama's Chief Justice, he ordered state judges to defy the Supreme Court ruling in Obergefell versus Hodges that allowed marriage equality, and he continued to enforce the ban in Alabama on same-sex marriage. That stance ultimately led to Roy Moore's removal from the Alabama Supreme Court. The next year, Roy Moore said the Supreme Court's Dred Scott decision, which held that black people were property and could not be citizens, was a better ruling than the marriage equality decision. At this point, I can't figure out if Roy hates blacks or gays more. For him, I guess it's a toss-up. After he was ousted from the Supreme Court, Roy Moore spoke to Here I Stand, which is a podcast led by the Christian Emergency League. What the fuck is a Christian emergency? And to make the gross comparison of the gay marriage ruling with the slavery decision. But this ruling in Obergefell is even worse in a sense because it forces not only people to recognize marriage other than the institution ordained of God and recognized by nearly every state in the nation, it says that you now must do away with the definition of marriage and make it between two persons of the same gender. Weehaw! What are you talking about? Roy, you do realize that straight people are still allowed to get married, right? We'll have better weddings and receptions, but you're still allowed to get married. Reason number 2. Moore said endorsing the Supreme Court's marriage ruling was the equivalent of following immoral laws in Germany during World War II. Right, Roy, because every time a gay gets married, a conservative angel loses its wings. He actually said, could I do this if I was in Nuremberg? Say that I was following orders of the highest authority to kill the Jews? Could I say I was ordered to do so? So, of course, the reporter responded with, the Nuremberg trials were about killing Jews, not gay marriage. Roy Moore responded with, is there a difference? I ask you, David Duke, George Wallace, Roy Moore, is there a difference? I think not. And yes, Roy Moore, there is a difference between killing Jews and gay marriage, especially with the lesbians. In your scenario, people are actually dying, and when two lesbians get married, it's just the sex life that dies. And, drum roll please, the number 1 reason not to vote for Roy Moore? Ted Cruz just endorsed him for senator. I mean, really, what else do you need? So please, if you are a Democrat or a Republican, if you have any moral compass, get out and vote against this horrible human being. Speaking of disgusting humans, they seem to be uncovered by the dozens in Hollywood these days. So I'm going to sit down with the feminism editor from The Advocate, Tracy Gilchrist, to talk about the sexual harassment epidemic that has been uncovered in Hollywood. Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming back and joining us this week. My guest used to be the editor-in-chief of She Wired. She is now the feminism editor right here at The Advocate. Please welcome to Out in Left Field, Tracy Gilchrist.
Hi Dana, thanks for having me.
I'm so all the way from your office around the corner. Thank you for making the trip.
I walked about 30 feet from my cube for this.
I feel real good about it. Yeah. So I thought it was really important to have you on the show. We've been talking about really just disgusting men specifically here in Hollywood. The number of women coming forward is unbelievable. When does Toback even have time to actually do his job? He seems to just be sexually harassing women 24 hours a day.
How does anyone have the energy for that? I don't understand.
Christ. Do you feel like this is going to be a watershed moment for Hollywood? Do you feel like this is going to hit hard and we're going to do something about it, or this is just going to fizzle away?
I am emboldened by the fact that it's ongoing, not by the fact that there are so many victims, but that it's been talked about, that so many people are coming forward, and it continues to be in the news.
Yes.
With the person who is in the White House at the moment, that usually takes focus all the time.
Right.
So I'm really happy that this is on the radar and that people are continuing to talk about it. And actresses who are, they're famous now, but could have something to lose by continuing to speak out. So I'm excited that those people are out there talking about it. But I hope that more than anything, people realize it's not a Hollywood problem.
Right.
It's a problem in every industry.
And I think what people need to realize, especially with this is not a Democratic or Republican issue. And I'm very tired of hearing people being like, oh, look at the disgusting Democrat Harvey Weinstein. No, he's a disgusting human. We've got the two guys at Fox News. We've got Bill O'Reilly and Ailes. And funny because they were fired, finally.
But didn't Bill O'Reilly just get rehired?
He actually signed a contract after he paid off $32 million in lawsuits.
You can harass as many women as you like and get rehired at the place you were fired from, or, you know, sit in the White House. I will say I was frustrated because when this broke, I actually took the first vacation I was taking in a year.
Of course you did.
It was so much, so fast. I couldn't jump in from, you know, what I was trying to do there. So coming back into it, it's absolutely on me at this point to keep the discussion happening here. I mean, we have a policy now when somebody gets fired for sexual harassment, we write about it. We want these stories to be out there.
I admittedly could be part of the Me Too hashtag. You know, I think a lot of us, thousands, hundreds of thousands of women in this country, were part of the Me Too hashtag. What can I do? What do you think is going to come next? Like, what can I do to help continue to bring this light, fight against it?
If you can be safe about it, I think speak out. Don't put up with it. And that's not incumbent only on women. We need men. The ones who are supposed to be the good guys, we need them to stand up to harassers. When they hear locker room talk, speak out about it. To me, you're not a good guy unless you're fighting for everyone. And you have to speak out and against harassers if you're in a safe space.
Maybe some of these guys in these power positions will stop doing this, because in my head, it's a sickness. There's an impulse problem.
I think that people who do these things do them. I think that they don't change. I don't believe in rehab for this.
You don't think Harvey Weinstein's week in Malibu is going to fix him?
I think that they have to be continually exposed. They can't be given a space to do these things. More women in power positions in every industry, not just Hollywood. I mean, Silicon Valley is having a nightmare.
See, I had that conversation with a couple of women lesbians that present as very masculine. They assume that because of their way they look, that somehow that has kept them safe. And so I asked one of my dear friends, has a man ever said to you, maybe you just haven't had the right guy? That is, on a very small level, still this man thinking he has the power to change and control you.
We've been inured to it, where as women we're socialized to believe that that's okay. I mean, boys are socialized to think that they can speak that way. And then as young girls, you are taught that it's okay, they're just being boys. My own mother has said that to me. Oh, honey, he's just a boy, he doesn't know better. Well, he should know better. And we need to start teaching them. That's the other thing. We need to start parenting and socializing children different. It's like from a ground up thing. It's not going to happen overnight. A
lot of people have said that this Me Too movement is obviously very powerful, but it'd be more powerful if these guys came up with a hashtag and said, it was me. Because again, the women are the ones coming forward, making ourselves vulnerable again.
We're always put on the line.
You're creating incredible content.
The advocate has to shift. We have to change with every change that occurs in the LGBT diaspora. I mean, we always have to keep moving. So I'm here to bring to light issues that affect women, not just lesbians, but when I look at feminist issues, I try to find the queer angle in that, because we're further marginalized, we're women, and then we're further marginalized by being queer, and then some of us are further marginalized by being trans or women of color. So there's all of that to look for and to bring to light.
You at The Advocate are also going to start something a little bit different, and that's a podcast. We're going to start a podcast here at The Advocate.
Yes, it's going to be called The Advocates.
Which is awesome.
Starting out, it will be me and Jessie Gender, who is a millennial, for lack of a better term.
Did you see that eye roll? That was a generational gap.
A wonderful millennial. We're going to kind of zone in on generational differences, speak about pop culture, LGBT issues, politics, and the fun part that we're both excited about, because we're both pop culture people, is that we're going to give each other homework.
Nice.
For our first one, she's going to watch The Incredibly True Adventures of Two Girls in Love, which is a film that I thought was one of the early greats.
Love it.
That's
I can't wait to see what comes from it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Big things happening. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us this week. As always, I'm going to have another amazing person sitting in that chair right there a week from now. I'm Dana Goldberg, and you have been watching Out in Left Field. She Wired, damn it, I missed it, is... I've never had to do this 3 times. Here we go. She is now the Feminism editor. You're gonna have to fix that. Jesse, what the fuck?
Feminism is hard to say.
It is not hard to say
It's
for me.
a-
Feminism advocate. No. Feminism. Damn it. Feminism. It's feminism. Feminism editor. Feminism. Why do I do that? Damn it. I know these are gonna be in the outtakes. Jesus Christ, sounds like a thunderstorm in here. Reason number 3. That's only 2. That's only 2 fingers. Oh, let's you sort of right in front of my face. That doesn't work for you. That upheld. God damn it, what's wrong today?